Hey everybody, I'm hanging out with the famous Sean Brown, who completed your first program for imaging yesterday at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
So congratulations on that. I'm sure you're feeling much more relaxed today.
Now I can just kind of relax, enjoy imaging, hang out with you guys, all that stuff. So
Yeah. We're very proud of you for doing that and for having an awesome program, which I have heard before, and inspiring people to continue growing and increasing their business. You have a very, very specific and a very cool way of explaining the economy and indicators and things like that. Can you tell us just a little bit about your program and kind of what you talked about yesterday?
yeah, do you want me to hold it or do you want to? Cool.
Don't take my microphone away.
It's not going to smack me on my face.
What's the answer, Sean?
So the program was really about how do we step outside of our bubble? How do we take not what's happening in your particular market, but what's actually happening in the world, and how do we use that as an indicator for what's happening in your business? So a lot of people do the inverse, where they look at their bubble and say, this is how the world is, versus here's how the world is, and how is that affecting our business? So in short, we broke down kind of the four, we'll call them things that are happening in the senior market. So recessionary fears, inflation, what's happening with jobs going away, the commoditization of photography, so more photographers than ever coming in, how does that impact your business? And we also talked about the things like dying social media reach and how is Gen Z actually changing the world for photographers. And so we kind of broke those down and how photography studios can adapt and how we can use things like position ourselves as a high-end luxury brand, because those are more resilient. Things like using your differentiating factors to stand out more. How can you create social media content that actually does well on the social media platforms, and how do we get more of those Gen Zs buying into what it is that you do? So, hour, 15-minute training right there for you guys.
Right. That was amazing. How come it took you so long yesterday? So when you're talking about Gen Z and the difference between that generation and my generation, your generation, millennial, like all those, like what is the main point that you would want to get across to our listeners of like what the huge differences with the Gen Z?
Yeah, so I think like the biggest thing is they really value different things than traditional generations. Accessibility, connection, authenticity is what they're looking for in brands. So they want to feel more a part of brands than they ever have. We've seen this with influencer culture. We see this with, especially with brands that want to do like fan contests, right? Or, the old Mountain Dew, like pick which flavor you want to put into the brand. Like they're more used to that. They want to be a part of the brand, have a say. So if you're not bringing them into your brand, using them in content creation, giving them kind of a platform, so to speak, well, they're going to the brands that do, that feel like they actually care about them. And more importantly, if you're not a photographer who they can tell what it is that you're like to work with before they've even contacted you, well, you're kind of a step below or a step behind where you need to be. They need to know exactly who you are. Is this your authentic self? Is it what you're actually like in video and Instagram stories, all that stuff? So that accessibility, the collaboration aspect is huge, but also the personal brand of really you needing to convey what it's like that, or what it is that you're like, what it's going to be like when they work with you before they've even really actually stepped foot into your studio.
And you do an awesome job of that, on your Instagram content and your vlog, and everything. You show your personality, and you're all energy. So when, your clients come to you, I'm sure they already feel like they know you. Yeah. So one question, and I'm sure anybody that, follows you online is probably like, where in the hell do you find the time to do all this stuff? So how do you plan for that, Sean?
Great question. I don't know. It's a process in and of itself. But I think the biggest thing is I am very big picture in terms of like, here's what I know I need to do. How do I make it happen? And so the first thing is planning it out. Get clear on like what it is that your goal is. So is your goal to do a vlog? Is it to do more social media? And then it's rather than you figuring out the time, how do you kind of build a team to do that? So we outsource all of our vlogs. So it's all handled by a high school student that basically is from a local high school. We hand it all off to them. They do all the video editing, all that stuff. And you're just kind of the bigger brand creative in terms of like what is it that it's going to do, what style are we going to shoot it in. It's all about delegation and outsourcing. So that's really helped, especially as we kind of scale more into that video realm rather than you trying to do every single thing yourself.
Because that would be, for me, that would be instantly overwhelming before I even started on it. So what's next for you? Like, what is this year bringing? I know that you just came off of an intense 3-day training, all the things. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so that was for a very select group. So it's what we call our inner circle. So that's capped at about 10 photographers, really photographers that are looking to scale their business to 6 figures. So very committed, successful businesses. And then we just did a 3.5, 4-day training down in Scottsdale. So it was like, got to imaging it, it's like my voice is already gone before we've even started. And it was like a lot of talking, like 12-hour days, but it was a lot of fun. And we really dive into, basically we take the foundations, and rather than a lot of workshops or conferences that they try to go wide, they try to cover every topic imaginable, we really focus on like 3 or 4 that are going to make the most impact and really go super deep. So really like even the nitpicky stuff like psychology of the words and the language that you're using, and a lot of mindset stuff. So it's stuff that's like, all right, we're not going to tell you how to book more seniors, but it's going to help you book more seniors when you start doing that as a result.
It's going to organize your thought process, I'm assuming. So if people are watching this and they're like, I've never heard of this guy before, I want to check him out, where can they find you online and social media and stuff?
Yeah. Best place, Instagram, Senior Photo Education, and then seniorphotography.education.com. And then I also run the Shoot for Success Photography podcast. So best places to go find that, take a listen of the podcast, or if you're an Instagram person, scroll through all that stuff.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you, Sean, and congratulations on an awesome program yesterday. We're very proud to be your sponsor. So, and thank you so much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll be back to chat with you soon.